Well, I was playing against Mount Juliet Christian Academy, and a girl was throwing the ball in after it had been kicked out of bounds, and I went up to head the ball and got kind of shoved by another girl, and it hit me in the back of my head instead of where it's supposed to hit me in the front of my head, and it just kind of knocked me out from there, and I don't really remember the rest of the game. Well, first was the nausea, and I kept playing on, and then I told my coach I didn't feel good, so I went and sat down, and then my headache came later that night, and then I tried to go to school the next morning, and I couldn't keep my eyes open because I was so tired and everything, and then I went home that day, and then I was home from school for about 2 weeks. I was done for the season. It was the first season game, and I couldn't play the rest of the season, it was hard, but I came and supported as soon as I could. What I can remember, they told me some things to remember, like they gave me a color and a number, and I had to say them back to him after he did some other exercises, and that was kind of hard. And then the first day I remember getting there and him telling me to stand up and close my eyes with my arms straight out and walk in a straight line. And I stepped 1 foot and completely fell over because of the dizziness when I closed my eyes. Well, I got a helmet. It's not really a helmet, it's like headgear kind of thing. My parents basically were like, you can't really play unless you wear this, and so I want to play, and so I'm gonna wear the helmet. But it's kind of funny looking, but as long as it kind of saves me from having another concussion, then I'll wear it. It's my senior year, and I'm gonna play soccer, and I'm gonna look past it and keep going.
Well, she's a senior this year, and she wanted to play her senior year, and she had been doing okay through the summer, and we kind of kept an eye on her, and she practiced and everything, and seemed like she was doing okay. So, my husband and I talked about it, and we talked about it with her, and she felt pretty confident about it, and I had a lot of regret. I mean, a lot of little misgivings about it, and I wasn't too sure about it, but we went ahead and let her play.
I'm going to tell you 3 new things to remember. You remember the ones from last week?
Red was one of them.
Yes. Blue 44 and truck. Can you tell them back to me?
Blue 44 truck.
Give me the months of the year backwards. We know that once you've had one concussion, your risk of having another one goes up with each subsequent concussion. We know that soccer for girls is moderate risk. It's not as high risk as football for boys, but for whatever reason, it seems to be a higher risk for girls in soccer than boys. This one doesn't seem to be as bad as last year, nor does it seem to be taking as long to get better. So I would be much more concerned if the pattern was the opposite, where she had one last year that maybe it took her a couple weeks, and then she's got one this year that's taken her 6 weeks. That to me is much more concerning in the opposite way. I certainly don't think her season's over this year. As long as her concussion symptoms go away, I think we would clear her to go back and play soccer. Is her risk of having another concussion after having had 2 now higher? It is. So that's something they have to decide, hey, is this worth the risk? Do I like soccer enough that I'm willing to take the risk? So that's my job, is to then inform them, and then they decide. Now, again, there may be disagreement amongst the people involved.
Yes, there will be.